Hi, good evening, and welcome to my daily session on various topics for creating world class companies and exceptional leaders. And today, in my concluding presentation on chakras, I'll be speaking about the success chakra. So, let me first start talking about the brief introduction of whatever I had spoken till now. Starting with the reason why business chakras or business flows are important, which is mainly driven from predictability need. That means in any company, having predictability of various key performance indicators is a huge benefit for and a huge necessity for achieving sustainable, profitable growth. Because through predictability, one can understand and in advance take some preventive measure so that the respective KPIs can be met. And that is the reason why predictability is extremely important. For predictability to be made, it is important that the process is stable. The stability is extremely important for predictability. So on the left side of the graph in the center of the slide, you see the development of the particular KPI over time. And that variation, what you see, is something which is natural, which has to occur. Any phenomenon in nature always has variations, and there are variations which are called as variations due to chance causes or inherent causes, or variations due to assignable causes, or some specific event or some specific disturbance in the system. And it is important for us to understand these assignable causes and eliminate them. And every time you eliminate an assignable cause, you would learn about the process, about the system, and that's how over time stability will be established. That's a very simple logic and simple fundamental of statistical process control, which is what I'm using here. And from this base of stability, which is the necessity for predictability, I say that we need to have continuous flow for achieving the stability. And these flow in the systems is what I termed as chakras, business chakras. And now today I will be presenting the last chakra of this series, which is the success chakra. So let me now go on to the introduction of the chakras. I had initially started with the introduction of the chakras. These chakras, I try to relate them to the chakras in the human body so that we could establish. And many a times it may sound a little jumbo mumbo because it is sometimes abstract. But you look at the life is basically driven by the seven chakras in the human body. And that's how I try to correlate that and analogically compare that to the business, wherein chakras are basically circles or flows in the human body, similarly flows in the business. And there were seven chakras which I spoke about, analogical to the seven chakras in the human body, starting with the root chakra, which is the Muladhara chakra in the human body, Swadhisthana chakra or sacral chakra in the human body, analogous to the continuity chakra in business, Manipura chakra or solar plexus chakra in the human body, analogous to the top-down chakra, and then the Anahata chakra or the heart chakra, analogous to the bottom-up chakra in the business. Then the Vishuddha chakra, the throat chakra, analogous to the progress chakra, and the third eye chakra, which I said is analogous to the growth chakra, and finally the crown chakra, which is analogous to success chakra. That was the basic introduction I had done, and after that, every evening I spent a little time in explaining the chakras and gave some examples as to how one could be working on this, starting with the root chakra, which is basically the flow from market to market of the products and services, and then the continuity chakra, which is the flow of finances and cash from market to market, which leads to prosperous partners. And then I spoke about the top-down chakra, which is basically flowing from people to people in terms of giving the directives for achieving personal power. Because as a leader, it's important that the leader gets some kind of a power. And this power is something which can be achieved if the flow of the top-down chakra is quite seamless and smooth, by giving the directives in the right way and by focusing on awareness for authenticity. That is extremely important. And then I spoke about the bottom-up chakra, which is about, again, flowing from people to people. In this case, not the directive, but the performance. And this I called it as the bottom-up chakra, which would create caring motivation. And then I spoke about the progress chakra, which is a flow from standards to a standard, an old standard to a new standard, ideally very quickly happening, which is what gives continual improvement in business, in companies, which is essential for sustainable growth. And then I finally discussed about the learning chakra, the growth chakra, which is all about learning, again, from standards to standards, the new standard to the old standard, going backwards to understand what did we learn, and then trying to make that learning a kind of a standard for the organization so that the future can be much more seamless and smooth. And by when we are trying to check the flow in this chakra, the main objective would be to for perceiving the unseen. That's the reason why I compared this with the third eye chakra, where you are trying to see what is invisible. And finally, today, my objective would be to talk about the growth chakra, success chakra, which is all about the stable, balanced, continually speeding up flow of business wisdom through intolerance for interruptions. These are the three areas which I am going to focus on today, which are basically the drivers for the three individual pairs of chakras which I explained earlier. One is the intolerance for interruptions, awareness for authenticity, and excitement for evolution, driven by ambition for sustainable growth, is the success chakra, which is analogous to the Sahasrara chakra or the crown chakra. First, let me talk about what intolerance for interruptions is. It's all about immediately reacting to interruptions in flow. Whatever be the interruption in flow, it could be piling up of inventory, it could be not receiving the receivables due to you, or it could be stagnating payments to vendors, which means the aging of the components in the inventory is going up. Whatever that is, which is related to any interruption in the flow, is what I would talk about here. For that, the most important attribute is to have intolerance for interruptions. It's all about immediately reacting to interruptions in flow while constantly adhering to an agreed upon or decided strategy, approach, plan, or routine. That is equally important. That means we are not really talking about deviating from any agreements or any decisions, but to follow that, and at the same time ensure that you are intolerant to the interruptions. And in case there is a deviation required, absolutely possible. It is a mandatory thing. That's what is a standard with any company, where there are a lot of people who can think. They can think, and they may decide that an interruption is, they may think and decide that a deviation is required. In such a case, it is important to get back to those who are involved in the original decision, so that jointly the change is discussed and then decided upon, because that's what that gives robustness for the decision making and robustness for the strategies or approaches which are deployed for ensuring continuous flow of either products and services from market to market, or finance and cash from market to market. Then the next would be the awareness for authenticity. Is all about being fully down to earth. Authenticity is being down to earth, true to self, for giving directives. It's important that you really don't do something just for the sake of doing it. That doesn't really help. It has to be down to earth. It has to be very true to self. That means you are really doing it with conviction. That is extremely important for giving directives, reviewing, and also for recognizing the performance. It's something which is very, very interesting. Many a times in leadership programs, a lot of emphasis is given on praising, on giving compliments. And here it is important to give compliments where it is really due. And at the same time, to be very, very conscious and very, very down to earth, very, very true to self when it comes to giving a criticism, which means that you're trying to encourage people to do better rather than simply praising them for whatever shabby work that was done. That's extremely important. Therefore, being true to self and down to earth is equally important when it comes to both top down and bottom up chakra. And finally, excitement for evolution is all about continually and not continuously. Continuously means you're not stopping at all. Continuously, you're improving something. That won't really work. It's important that some improvement is achieved, a standard is maintained, then you go to the next step. The next standard is maintained, then you go to the next step. And that's something which is called as a continual improvement in every aspect of business. This is very important to do this, even if there is no need, even if it is not necessary to continuously keep improving, because to continually keep improving, because this is something which is absolutely necessary for any business, so that you are always ahead of the competition. And it is put in other words, it is basically creating an urgency to improve when there is no need, when there is absolutely no need to improve, to create that urgency and drive to improve. That is what is this excitement for evolution all about. Now, let me try to go on to the next content which I'm going to share with you. Is what is the ideal state of this kind of a success chakra? What would be the ideal state of the success chakra? The ideal state of the success chakra would be when the company is achieving a CAGR, which is a cumulated annual growth rate, greater than the industry growth rate or GDP, whichever is higher. That means the company is constantly gaining ground and gaining market share. You can look at the recent election results of Trump and Biden, where one gained consistently and slowly the share over the last 1.5 days. I'm not sure what the end result would be. Now it seems that Biden is really leading in Pennsylvania state, Georgia, which were big states where Trump was leading, and that kind of a consistent growth beyond the growth of the competitor or the business or the market is something which is necessary. That is the ideal state. Then profitability is greater than double the best available interest rates for any secure investment. I take this as a thumb rule when I say that it is double than any secure investment. Secure investments could be fixed deposits, debenture bonds, government bonds. There, let us say if you are able to earn 5%, then the profitability should be at least 5 into 2, 10%. If it is 7%, it should be at least 14% or 15%. And the ROI should be higher than the best available return for deployment of capital in the market. Whatever be the, why are these required? Because in business, you are taking much more risk than investing money in a secure investment. Then market leader with at least 2/3 global market share. That would be the ideal condition. So why 2/3? Definitely there will be other competitors. You can't really say that I'm the only company in this world. That cannot work. And therefore, it's important that there is a competition. But as a market leader, as in an ideal state with sustainable growth, one would be having 2/3 of the global market share. And favorable reviews in all social media platforms, best-in-class remuneration for employees. I remember when I joined the company, Myco, those days, which is called today as Bosch, we were the best paid in the country, one of the best paid in the country. That's something which is very important. You cannot really be expecting excellent performance with mediocre salaries. Salaries have to be great. There must be the best-in-class remuneration for employees, 100% adherence to ethical and moral guidelines, which is equally important for achieving continuous flow in the success chakra. And finally, delighted stakeholders who are getting value much higher than the GDP rate. Whatever average growth rate in the world, it is much better than that. So this is the ideal state of the success chakra, which is kind of a dream state of any company, which is kind of a, what should I say, utopian description of the world. It's not so. You can really do that, and it's not at all difficult. There are companies who do that, and they would be called as the ones who have been excellent over decades and maybe some of them even centuries. So first of all, before I go to the next topic of trying to explain as to how you could check it out, it's very simple. How you could say, where do you stand? Before that, let me thank Deepak Kumar, one of my colleagues in my earlier role. And then thanks a lot, Deepak. Good morning to you all. How are you doing? So let me go to the next topic, which is the last topic of the day, which is to talk about how do you achieve this, but how do you check where do you stand today? It's very simple, very, very simple. You need to ask only 7 questions. First question is, how tolerant are you and your team for interruptions? When I say interruptions, I remember yesterday I was in a plant, and on the shop floor, there were a lot of dusters. Dusters are the ones which you use in the shop floor in production for cleaning up your hands. A lot of dusters, gloves lying on the floor, and nobody had picked it up. There were people who were walking around. So I was there, and it's quite a standard thing. My eye somehow observes this. That's what I speak about mindset. You are tuned to that. So I saw that and picked it up, and after that, those guys took everything and then cleaned up and put it in the dustbin. So it became a little different visibly. So whenever there is an interruption, whatever it is, don't be tolerant. And like I said the other day, there was one case where somebody is tapping something in the assembly. Don't be tolerant for that. There were managers and the entire executives just looking around that. Yesterday, another example, there's a particular gauge to be used for checking a particular critical dimension, which was causing defect in the later part of the supply chain. And that gauge was just kept somewhere, totally dusted, not at all totally with a lot of dust and a lot of muck on the gauge, and never was used, and some change positions were missing. And how is it possible that the entire organization allowed that entire thing to run? And in fact, the inspector, the line inspector, or they call it the patrol inspection, the patrol inspector even made a note that the particular gauge is not existing there, but still he allowed that entire thing to go on. And that is being tolerant to interruptions. That cannot be allowed at all. there is an interruption because the gauge was not available, don't allow that thing to go on. And that is the key. How good are you? How intolerant are you and your team for interruptions when it comes to products and services? And similarly, how intolerant are you and your team when it comes to finances and cash? Receivables is one issue. The receivables are not coming. So are you doing something, or are you just waiting for some miracle to happen? Let us say in terms of the aging of inventories, which is again cash stuck there, finance is stuck. So are you trying to see something to get it cleared, or are you just taking it easy? And these are things which can happen from the lowermost hierarchy level to the topmost hierarchy level in organization. Question is, how intolerant are you? You can simply rate yourself as high, low, or medium. And if you are high, then it is really important and extremely urgent that you start working on that. If it is low, then it is not that critical. Then comes the next one. How aware are you and your team for authenticity when it comes to giving directives and setting targets? How authentic are these targets? Are they something which is coming from the heart? Is it something which is down to earth? Is it something which is true to yourself? Or are you doing because somebody asked you to do? That's something which is what you need to ask yourself, high to low. When it comes to encouraging and demanding performance, I say both these things, encouraging and demanding performance. Encouraging is what you're giving praise. Demanding is you are demanding whatever that needs to be done. Both have to go together. In German, it's a very, very interesting combination of these two. The two words are fördern und fordern. Fördern means encourage, fordern means demand. So it's a combination of encouragement and demand. They say that the leadership, or a best leader, or top leaders, are those who have got fördern and fordern both equally impregnated in them. It's not only possible to give encouragement, at the same time, it is important that you demand performance too. And how are you doing it? How is your team doing it? How excited are you and your team for evolution when it comes to continual improvement? What kind of an urge do people have for continual improvement? When it comes to organizational learning, how much amount of effort are you putting for organizational learning? What is the drive there? Do you have platforms for tacit learning and for implicit learning? Tacit learning is something where you can do it only through discussions and debates. Implicit could be done through knowledge banks and data banks and websites, intranet, and all that can be used for something which is recorded and something which is not recorded. There you need to really be very, very clear that it can only happen through debates and discussions, because people wouldn't like to share unless they are asked to share. And that sharing is something which is allow for everybody, like I am doing. I'm interested in sharing whatever my wisdom is. So some may do it through YouTube, some may do it in a meeting, but it's important that the organization sets up those platforms. How excited are you in doing that? How excited are you and your team for evolution, for continual improvement, for learning? That is the fifth and the sixth question. And final question is, how strong is your and your team's ambition for sustainable growth? Are you really ambitious for sustainable growth? These are the 7 questions. You answer these 7 questions. If they are high, then it's important that you start off immediately. When it is low, then I'm sure you would be the market leader. Then there is no need for you to worry. Keep going, keep ensuring that these flows are happening, and keep continuously learning. When you are in the low, then it is most important to focus on only the evolution, which is what that maintains and ensures that you're going to be in the low. If it is very high, then you start with the root chakra, which is the top one, and then come down. The same sequence is what I explained. So that is a very, very brief of what I wanted to speak about chakras. So tomorrow and day after, anyway, I won't be speaking Saturday and Sunday. But this Monday also, I may not be speaking because I have to go to a customer somewhere in Tamil Nadu. It may get delayed, so I may come back home quite late. So if in case it gets delayed, in case I not speak, please pardon me. I'll come back on Tuesday. Tuesday, I will be speaking about a very interesting topic, which is called as mindset and my understanding of mindset, which is also necessary for all these things. And once I have done this series on chakras and mindset, then I'll start talking about engineering roles and operational excellence, business excellence, and all that. Because you see, these are all the foundations. Sometimes these foundations, though seem quite abstract, are extremely necessary for one to get the concept. Once the concept is available, then all the other things will flow very smoothly. That is the core of wisdom, core of the business, which I have learned as a very, very important wisdom in my life. And I want to transmit it to everybody. So therefore, I'm very, very happy and excited that you are watching and people are liking. Thanks a lot for doing that. Thanks a lot for continuing to watch. Look forward to seeing you again on Tuesday, definitely, and if possible on Monday. And for those of you in India, have a nice evening. For those of you outside India, have a great day ahead, and see you. Goodbye.